So I'm getting a bunch of comments these days on YouTube, particularly in connection with a video I did about, if you can't avoid toxic people, to neutralize them. And I talk about forgiveness. And it's gotten just a ton of responses, some praising me and the insightful stuff I'm offering, and people saying thank you, I really needed to hear that. And then the other extreme, yeah, then there's people going, that is the worst advice I've ever heard. And some of them get really angry and mean, like we've seen in social media, and they say, doctors are all thieves and worthless, and you're a jerk, and that makes no sense. You don't understand. Okay, so I just want to say something here about that. Look, I got a thick skin. No one likes to be criticized, but I'm totally fine with people saying that they think I'm out of my mind and they think that my advice is bad, and that's fine. I have nothing. This isn't a contest here. I'm just trying to help people. I don't need my ego stroked one way or the other. I'm putting it out there. But here's the thing. First of all, just in general, and this is part of Change Your Mind, part of me trying to help people to live better lives and be happier. If you're one of these people who just gets so angry and volatile and has to just attack, if you disagree, fine. All you got to do is say, hey, I disagree, and here's why. But just getting personal and just getting into like attacking and taking these extreme positions of this is completely worthless information, I don't think it's helpful to you. First of all, you could put people off who may at some point down the road be helpful to you, and they won't want to because you just were so rude and arrogant. But the other thing is, you may be missing out on information that can help you. There's a thing in 12-step programs called contempt prior to investigation, where people hear something and they immediately go, no, that's not true, or that can't be, or whatever. They just neutralize it right away without really understanding it. I think a lot of you folks who are like so adamantly, violently believing that that this advice is really bad, and a lot of times you're misinterpreting what I'm saying because you're projecting your own stuff onto what I'm saying, and you're not getting the full information. But also keep this in mind. Look, I'm sure you're all smart people, and maybe you're even very, very well educated. And I'm not bragging, but I spent a lot of time studying psychology, psychiatry. I spent a lot of time studying spirituality, forgiveness. I've researched and studied independently of formal training. I have been spending 20 years dealing with people who have anger and resentment and issues with forgiveness and unforgiveness and all sorts of stuff. And so when I come out with these videos talking about, a way to approach stuff, you might want to just kind of give it a second thought and don't immediately like invalidate me and the information right out of the gate. You might want to go, oh, maybe this guy knows something, and maybe I'm not really seeing what his point because I've already prejudged it, and I've got this extreme bias, and I've got a ton of angry energy. Yeah, I don't think you're helping yourself. I think you should try to go a little deeper in the things I'm saying, even if you feel that it's wrong. And then after you've kind of analyzed it from a cool head, not an angry head, but a cool head, and then you think it's wrong and foolish and stupid, great. And if you want to comment on that, that would be fine. But I would prefer that you actually use examples rather than just going, that's worthless, stupid advice. I guess you're using it. Someone said, oh, yeah, you do that to a narcissist or this or that, and bad things will happen, and you're just reinforcing getting victimized if you hold love in your mind. It's the distortions that some people are coming up with based on what I'm saying is shocking. So let me clarify this thing about forgiveness. All right, first, let me clarify this thing about toxic people. Yeah, you don't want to be around toxic, hostile, negative people if you can avoid it. You should avoid it. And even if they're your family, you should go out of your way to avoid it. Avoid toxic, hostile people, places, circumstances. This is the best way to stay out of trouble, be happy, and it's the best way to attract positive people, places, and circumstances into your life who will synergize and cooperate with you. So of course, avoid by all means. But if you can't avoid toxic people, they're in your sphere, either in your family somehow, and you bump into them, or they're at work somehow, or whatever, and you come across these people, you neutralize them with your mind. You neutralize any anger, aggression, judgment, hostility that they deserve, that they have instilled in you, and you want to release it. You want to release it not to let them off the hook, not to let them feel better, not to indicate that you're weak and that you're a victim and that you're a doormat and they can keep on victimizing you. You're not if you try to forgive and love others despite how they're behaving, you're healing yourself. I know this is a very heavy, high concept that a lot of people can't get, but I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you it's true. The more you truly, unconditionally forgive and love others without exception and without condition, if you can pull that off, you will be happy. You will find inner peace. You will release so much negativity, so much charge, so much stress, so much aggression and anger. You will be happy. Forgiveness works. Now, when you forgive others, you don't have to go up to them and go, "I forgive you." No, you can do it all in your head. You release it. But to truly gain the spiritual and emotional advantage of forgiveness, you do it to everyone, everywhere, as much as you can, wherever you can, without exception. You try to release your judgments and attack thoughts on everybody. The more you do this, the more consistently you do this, the happier you will be. We forgive others for our own peace of mind. We forgive others because it serves us well. Forgiving others is the most selfish thing that you can do. Forgiving others, okay, does not reinforce toxicity, okay? You still are master of your fate. You choose who you want to be with and how you want to be affected by them. And as always, my advice to people is that you want to not be a victim, don't hang around perpetrators. Don't hang around people who are hostile and aggressive, and will assault you verbally or physically, emotionally, whatever. When you see the red flags that somebody's no good, get out of town. Leave them. Go away. Let them victimize somebody else. Anyway, obviously, I got off on a rant, independent of what I was initially saying, which is simply this. If you disagree with me and you have a need to comment on it, I would appreciate being more gentle and civil, and also I would appreciate examples that would be helpful of not just feelings, but kind of facts or real experiences you've had, and that's great. But also, I encourage you, before you try to invalidate me and the message, also to give it a second thought. Maybe sit on it for a day and then go back and think about it, or look at what I've said again, because you may discover that you've got these built-in biases that are holding you back, that are holding you back from a greater joy, a greater sense of peace that comes with releasing anger and aggression and harsh judgment. Okay, there it is.